On November 8, 2007, former Army Sergeant Kyle White and his platoon embarked on a mission in Afghanistan.
If you've seen the terrain, I don't know how any of them survived that. I really don't. I mean, there was nowhere for them to go, and they were completely surrounded. It was really bad out there.
During the mission, White was shot at and knocked unconscious. Once he returned to consciousness, several of his fellow soldiers were either wounded or dead. White not only saved himself, but the rest of his team, and returned them to safety.
Well, really, during the moment, the only thing that was going through my head is, I have a job to do. And when it's really tough to explain, but when you're in that situation, you're not really thinking, you're relying on the training that's been, pounded into your head over the years, and going through my head at that moment, and each moment throughout the firefight, it was really, hey, I know I need to do this, let's get this done.
Sergeant White was awarded for his heroic performance by receiving the prestigious Medal of Honor.
The Medal of Honor is the nation's highest award for valor. It's given for an act or acts in which somebody puts, their life in danger to either help or aid their battle buddies. And typically it's for acts that go above and beyond the typical call of duty. So yeah, this is what the Medal of Honor looks like up close. You can always tell if somebody's wearing the original one or not, because you are entitled as a recipient to have a duplicate, but only the original will have the actual inscription on the back of who it was awarded to.
Along with receiving the recognition, the Medal of Honor ceremony was held inside the White House, with President Barack Obama issuing the award.
It was an interesting experience receiving the Medal of Honor. I'd say it was actually quite humorous at multiple points, because the process of how it goes before it's awarded, you meet with the president in the Oval Office, and he actually signs the award, and it makes it official. And so, I was always expecting, to be very formal introduction and stuff, and we were waiting outside of the Oval Office, and it is actually, he just whips the door open, and it's like, hey, I'm, Barack Obama. It's like, I know who you are,
Former military members often struggle with the transition to civilian life, but White had a different mindset while entering his new life after service.
That transition from, the military to, civilian life and college environment was challenging. And for me, what I did to kind of aid in that transition is I treated college as my next mission. And so in every mission in the military, you have a planning phase, and you have, benchmarks along the way that's going to take to, accomplish your overall mission. Really, I made college my mission. I have to get through this semester, I have to get these classes done, I have to do, these set benchmarks in order to accomplish my mission, which was to earn my degree and move forward in my life.
The University of Akron was fortunate to have Sergeant White speak on campus due to a connection dating back to White's time in the Army.
I was happy to be able to speak here at the University of Akron today, because one of the Master Sergeant David Zwick, who's here, he runs, an aspect of the ROTC program. And, during those firefights in my deployment to Afghanistan, he was one of the squad leaders in my platoon. And I've learned so much from him over the years. So any chance, I can hang out with him and then try to, help hopefully some future generations of leaders, kind of learn some lessons that I learned, I jumped on the opportunity.
This has been Heather Daniels for Lights, Camera, Akron.